Alright, today we're going to do rational expressions. What you're going to have is a quotient of two polynomials. That's a rational expression. Your job is to factor the rational expression completely, look at any restrictions. A restriction is where the denominator would be equal to 0, and then cancel any factors. For example, let's look at, if I gave you this problem. (24) divided by 36. If you broke 24 up, 24 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, right? And 36 is 4 times 9, right? These are called factors of 24. These are called factors of 36. Now, how do we simplify this problem? What cancels?
Both 2's and the 3's.
For every 2, for every factor of 2, if you have a match on the top and the bottom, you cancel it. Same, there's another one. Is there something else you can cancel? We can cancel these 3's. So what's your final answer?
2/3.
2/3. What is 2/3? 2/3 is a simplified fraction quotient of that. So we're going to extend this information that you learned back in middle school to rational functions, or rational, right now they're rational expressions. It's not a function yet, but you have to graph them eventually. So, what are you going to do? First of all, you have x squared plus 7x plus 10 over x squared minus 3x minus 10. You are not allowed to cancel these x squareds out. What you have to do is factor this completely. How do you factor the numerator? What two numbers multiply to give you 10 but add to be 7?
5.
Okay, how about the bottom one? What two numbers multiply to give you negative 10 but add to be negative 3? Is that right? Now let's state the restrictions. The restrictions are where the denominator gives you a 0. X cannot be what? What number would x be to make 5 minus 5? Oh, I'll just give you the answer, 5. X can't be 5. How about this next one? What can't this be? Negative 2. These are called your restrictions. Now, when you cancel, these two are factors. So what's left is x plus 5 over x minus 5. So this is your final answer. All right, so let's practice these 3 problems. We did these yesterday, we're gonna do them again. Now, before we cancel anything out, x can't be 0, and y also can't be 0. These are your restrictions.
I don't even know I
Yeah,
do.
how do
You can't have a 0 in the denominator of a fraction. So if I were to say let x be 0, we would get a 0 in the bottom. Right? Because isn't 0 squared 0? And isn't 0 times anything
I'm
0?
making the denominator for your restrictions.
Yes, the denominator is your restrictions. Everybody, the denominator can't be equal to 0. So now what cancels? Negative, look at your numbers.
You can divide that.
You divide that, simplify that, like I did
Yep.
right here. Right here. That's it's a simple division problem. So if you were to divide those two, what do you get? How many times does negative 6 go? Now, if you have to break it up like I did before, that's fine. You have negative 4,
X over Y.
and now look at your x's. You have 3 x's on top and 2 on the bottom. What's left? An x on top,
And a Y.
and then look at your y's. You have 2 y's on the top and 3 on the bottom.
One wide at the bottom.
We did these in chapter 6. This is an old review problem from chapter 6. Okay, now B, how are you gonna do B? B is like example 1 above. How are you going to factor x squared plus 2x minus 8?
X plus 4x minus 2.
How about the bottom? How do you factor x squared minus 5x plus 6?
X minus 3 and x minus 2.
Whoops. Is that correct? All right, let's state the restrictions before we throw anything out. Alex, what are my restrictions? X
it's,
can't be what?
3.
Yeah, 3 and then next one.
Why? Tell me why.
Because we'll make 0.
Because you'll have 0 in the denominator. So these are called your restrictions. Now what cancels? Those two. So what's your final answer? Okay, that was easy? All right, let's do one more. This one, you guys tend to have trouble with your GCF problems. This, you can pull a common factor out. What number is common of 4? And you're left with 3 minus x. Now in your, this is called the difference of two perfect squares. Do you remember how to factor the difference?
X plus 3 and x minus 3.
Okay, before we throw anything out, what are my restrictions? X cannot be what?
3 and
Negative 3 and 3. You could do it like this if you want. It's a shortcut. Now, do you remember yesterday, we talked about if you, these two right here, I'm gonna put these two right here, focus on these two. What do you notice about them? This says negative x, but it says positive x here. This is 3, this is negative 3. If I were to take this little thing right here, off to the side, I want you to look at this for a minute. That's what that is, right? If I rewrite it, and if I pull out a negative 1, guess what it now looks like? This is the same as that. So what is the same? We could cancel these out, but what's remaining? A negative 1. So when you see, this is the proof of why that happens. If you have the same factors, but they're opposite signs, both of them, cross them out, but put a negative 1 somewhere. So this answer is negative 1 times 4 over x plus 3. Or what?
Negative 4.
Good. Good job. Questions? All right, go to the next example. Problem 2. What's the objective here? Is multiplying rational expressions. So think back. Just made this up. Who taught you how to multiply fractions in 4th grade? Go back to 4th grade. What's the rule for multiplying fractions?
Gotta have the same.
Nope, you don't have to have the same denominator.
Oh, then just
Straight
multiply
across.
straight across.
You go straight across and straight down, right?
Yeah.
But then what do you have to do after that?
Simplify.
Simplify. We don't want to do that. Can we do something else instead of multiplying? Eventually, we have to multiply across and down.
Multiply.
See this 7? I look at 21, and 21 is really 3 times 7. See these 7s?
We cancel out.
They cancel out.
The 5 and the 5 and the 25.
It's
cancel
doing too much.
You're making it easier.
You
I
make it
feel like it's
easier.
confusing.
out. 25 is 5 times 5 and then the
7 goes into 21 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times does 5 go into 25? 3? Because 25 is 5 times 5, right?
5 times.
So cross out one of these 5s. So what's left on top are just ones. What's 1 times 1? 1. What's 5 times 3? 15. So you're doing the same process here. So let's go through. What you have to do is factor x squared plus x minus 6. How does x squared plus 1x minus 6 factor? I want you to factor this. What do you get?
X plus 3, x minus 2.
Okay, see this bottom right here? You can't factor that. But what I like to do is put parentheses around it. How about this top? What's this called? The difference of
Two
two.
perfect squares.
Yep. How do you factor x squared minus 5?
X
X
minus
Okay, that's a good one. And then how about the bottom? How do you factor x squared plus 4x plus 3?
X plus 3, x plus 1.
Whoops.
3.
Sorry. 3 and 1. Okay, now, before we start canceling, can you tell me what, there's 3 restrictions. X can't be 5. X can't be,
Negative 3.
and X also can't be.
Negative 1.
Why?
Because it'll be 0 in denominator.
Because you have a 0 in denominator. 3 points right there, just 3 restrictions for that one. Now, we're gonna cancel 1 for 1. Where do you see 1 for 1? Give me 1 and 1. Anyone see a match anywhere?
3.
I do.
The x plus 3.
There's your x plus 3s, they're gone.
X minus 5s.
The x minus 5s, thank you, Lauren. Anything else match up? Nope, we've canceled all we can. So what's left, you're gonna go across. You have x minus 2 times x plus 5 on the top, and on the bottom we have x plus 1. This is simplified, and these are your restrictions. All right, you're gonna do this next one with me. 2x minus 8 over x squared minus 16 times x squared plus 5x plus 4, x squared plus 8x plus 16. You're gonna factor the daylights out of this problem. The numerator, the denominator, the numerator, and the denominator. If you can't factor, we're gonna have some trouble. Can anyone give me a suggestion how to break up 2x minus 8? Can something come out, is there
Take out
something
a 2.
common? Take out a 2, and what's left?
X minus 4.
Thank you. How about x squared minus 16? How does that factor?
I'm gonna do a positive factor.
Difference of 2 perfect squares. How do you factor x squared plus 5x plus 4?
X plus 1 and x plus 4.
And the last one, how do you factor x squared plus 8x plus 16? What 2 numbers multiply to give you 16
4 and 4.
and add to the 8? You are right. 4 and 4. Good job. So let's talk about the restrictions. What are the cannots? The cannots are what? X cannot equal what?
Positive 4, negative 4.
4 and negative 4 and negative 4 and negative 4. So we can say x cannot be simply plus or minus 4. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
The cannots are 4, negative 4, negative 4, negative 4. You don't have to write negative 4 3 times. All right, what factors are we gonna throw in the garbage?
X minus 4,
Everyone see that?
X plus 4, twice.
Okay, now, it's 1 for 1. 1 for 1. So if you see that there's abundance of x plus 4s. If you're gonna cancel this one out, you can only pick one at the bottom. Which one?
Oh,
It doesn't matter which one. Pick that one. You could have picked that one. But you can't, a lot of people wanna do this. They wanna cancel this out and cancel the rest of the x plus 4s.
so you can't cancel 2 out from the bottom?
No, you cannot. It's 1 for 1. Why? Why only 1?
Because there's not another one in the numerator.
Because x plus 4 over x plus 4 is 1,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
okay? So what's left? What's left? Let's pick up everything that's left over. What's this number?
Plus
2, what's this?
X plus
And what's left on the bottom? Can I shorten x plus 4 times x plus 4?
Squared.
Yeah, good. So that's your answer.
No work, that's it.
That's it. This is it. This is your answer. They're asking you to state the restrictions, you did that, and simplify it, you did that. Now, go back to 4th grade again. Um,
How are we doing the problem 3?
well, let's go back. Who taught you how to divide fractions? Think of your
Mystery.
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 Miss Dury. Miss
Yeah.
Dury. Okay, how did she tell you how to do this problem?
I couldn't, it was in 3rd grade.
It was in 3rd grade. First of all, does anyone recall something needs to be done with this operation and something needs to be done with that? I'm giving you a hint.
Would you flip it?
What do you flip?
The numerator and the denominator? Right? Am I right?
Yep.
Oh.
And what, you have to do
Can't
something
you
with
times
this.
it once you flip it?
Yep. So does everyone remember, we are not dividing fractions.
You don't divide.
We
you
are
flip.
going to turn it into a product, but we have to flip this second one, the one after the division sign gets flipped. Now, so guess what? If you forgot how to divide fractions, you just got a bonus today.
And then you
I
can,
definitely forgot.
You forgot, you remember now? Now what do you do?
Nice.
well, you
I
can,
mean, you can do little cheat
Five-
things.
you can do
Four
what you
goes
do,
into
cancel
8,
out.
how many times?
2,
5 goes into 25,
5,
Maybe 1/10.
so it's 1/10. Good job, 1/10. All right, now we're gonna perform this same operation with polynomials. So,
yay.
what are you, let's first break it up into products. 2 minus x is just 2 minus x. Can't do anything with that. How do you factor x squared plus 2x plus 1? How do you factor that? X plus 1. Now, we're not going to flip anything yet. I just want you to break it up.
Wait, it doesn't matter if you have to flip it. Can you flip it first if you wanted to?
You can, but I want to show you something first. Hold on. How do you factor x squared plus 3x minus 10?
X plus 5 and x minus 2.
And then how about this one right here?
Not easy.
No?
I actually find it quite
Yikes.
Okay,
Now you flip it.
before we flip, I need you to tell me what the cannots are.
You can't
What-
do,
1 and -1.
X cannot be -1, -1, 1, and -1. So basically plus or minus 1, right? These are the cannots. X cannot be that. But now what's gonna happen is you're gonna flip, which fraction are we flipping?
one after the division.
The one after the division sign. So now this numerator is gonna be on top.
I can't hear you. I'm trying to write it down, I can't.
So now, what, we have some more restrictions.
Negative 5 and positive.
Negative 5 and 2. So what you have to understand, with a division 1, you need to state the restrictions of the numerator and the denominator of this one. So the restrictions are gonna be 1, -1, -5, 2, 1, and -1. So you could add your restrictions to this list. X cannot be -5 and also 2. Why?
Because it'll make 0 on the bottom, and you can't
Yep.
have 0 on the bottom.
Now go to town canceling. What cancels?
The x x plus 1.
X plus 1.
And then doesn't the 2 minus x?
Yep.
or- Yeah.
These two are gonna cancel out, but you need to put a
Negative 1.
-1 somewhere. And what's left is x minus 1 over. So this is left, this is left, this is left, and your -1. That's the answer.
I'm gonna cancel X plus 1 and 2 minus X. How's that?
These two are a match,
Uh-huh. Oh,
and
yeah,
these
yeah.
two were a match, but they're opposite signs, so we put the -1 in place.
Just a lot to.
Okay, we're gonna do one more.
Yay.
See this top one up here? Let's see how good you guys can do this. If I were to hand you, if I were to make this 10 points, would you earn your 10 points? Let's see.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. I need you to take this problem, I need you to factor it and state all the restrictions. See how good your memory is. Everyone do it, and I'm gonna do it too.
Do you flip the top and the bottom of both sides?
This,
No.
Or
this,
just that?
this.
Just the side after the division.
So before I flip this one, x can't be -4, it can't be 3, it can't be 0, and it can't be 3. Do we need to write 3 twice? No. Now, when you flip this one stays the same. Sorry to give you a lot of room. I have to add 2 more restrictions. X cannot be what?
Positive and -1.
What cancels?
Yeah, that.
Those,
And the 3. Yeah.
those, anything else? Those. What's left?
The 2x over x minus 1.
That is your simplified answer with all of these restrictions. These are the cannots. X can't be -4, 3, 0, 1, or -1. Why can't we have those numbers? Because that's when your denominator will equal 0. The rest is your homework. These will all be on YouTube. Does anyone have any questions?